Welcome to the Manna Motivation YouTube channel. When it seems that your life is a disaster and you can't even muster the willpower to get out of bed, you may be feeling deep despair. You may be at a loss for what could motivate you in your current situation. When you face a difficult time, such as going through a loss of a loved one, it can leave you feeling emotionally and physically drained. It's hard to feel up to facing the world afterward. If you are feeling down and find it almost impossible to make meaning in the tragedy of a major setback, remember that there is hope. Grief can make it so that you have no passion for anything and have lost interest in everything. These tips may help you find your inspiration again. If you want more motivational content, subscribe to the Manna Motivation YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. How does losing a loved one affect motivation? It can be hard to find the motivation to carry on after a loss. You may not feel like doing anything on most days, not even likely doing anything that makes you happy or brings joy. It's not unusual during these times to feel hopeless and believe you would not ever find joy in life again. While life will never be the same, you can recover from pain and suffering and find new meaning in life by exploring your own personal thoughts. Instead of coping with grief by trying to forget what happened, the best way to move past it is to find a new value system. When continuing to mourn for a loved one's death, a lack of motivation and energy is common. This can put you at risk of developing more severe issues such as chronic grief or depression. It is essential to keep healthy that you find a new form of motivation. Here are some examples of what may help in this regard. Allow time for healing. Your grief journey will be different from everyone else's and will follow a unique course on its own timeline. Avoid comparing your experiences to others, as there is no right or wrong way to grieve. What you can count on is that healing takes time. There is no rush through grief to get to the finish line, as there may not ever be one. A typical grieving process lasts about a year, but with complex grief, you may need to be patient and work on healing for several years. The length of the process depends on individual needs. Make a wish list. Some people are better off focusing on what they may not be able to do, like having a child or traveling. Think of the things you wanted to do before aging and sickness makes it too difficult, such as traveling to a different country or having a child before it is too late. Writing down your list will help you regain focus and clarity on your life, find new meaning, and prioritize it. Take a few weeks or months to tuck away the top of your list so you will remember later. Go somewhere alone. A solo trip is a great way to heal your soul. Maybe you think this is not the appropriate time for a trip, or it's just not fair to take yourself on one. Regardless of your thoughts, taking an impromptu vacation could have benefits for you in the long run. Consider taking time alone to reconnect, continue the relationship with a loved one who has passed, or reclaim your life. Timing something like this during a stressful time can help you clear your head and give you new meaning to your days. Pick up a new hobby. When a loved one dies, mourning can be extremely difficult. I often take time to process my emotions before I attempt to return to everyday life. Losing your loved one may also leave you struggling with how to cope with your grief. If you are in need of coping, reevaluating a new hobby after your loved one's death may help you recover more quickly. Hobbies, such as writing and photography, enable us to distract ourselves from our grief and provide a healthy release that can recoup any pent-up emotions and other grief-related symptoms. Figure out who you have become. Make sure to prioritize your tasks. Give yourself time for yourself, because that is just as important as completing the tasks on your to-do list. Remember to go through your list and prioritize which tasks need the most effort first. Perhaps after time, you will give into your new identity and consider what your life might look like moving forward. Once you have set up how you want to live, ask yourself how others see you in the world. When one's loved one dies, many find that their identity changes. They may need to pick up the reins of who they were before their loss and find ways to reinvent themselves in order to cope with their grief. Some people may choose a few books about finding themselves at their local bookstore for support. How to motivate a loved one after death. Connecting with someone in a difficult time is challenging because it's hard to relate to their feelings, the emotions they're feeling, or the profound pain they may be experiencing. Being able to reach out to someone who is struggling and encouraging them is not always easy. However, there are many creative ways to motivate someone without pressuring them into moving past their grief before they are ready. Here are some ways to help a grieving loved one. Number 1. Be supportive. Following the death of someone close to you, you may go through periods of uplifting and depressing thoughts. There are many different ways in which you can support a grieving family member, including expressing your feelings verbally and through practical help. In the first stages, you should be specific about how you can help out while your loved one is trying to handle the death and all of its responsibilities. Figure out how you can help and take action. As time stretches, follow up with phone calls, text messages, and visiting from time to time. Number 2. Talk about things. Giving your loved one the opportunity to share their feelings and emotions with you is an important step in healing from grief. Prepare yourself to hear the same stories over and over. Your loved one will eventually move past this phase of their grief, but until then, let them talk about it. Show empathy for your loved one and encourage them to express their thoughts with you as a supportive spirit. Number 3. Keep encouraging. Continued support and encouragement through text messages can boost a loved one's morale, regardless of speaking up or being away. Speaking directly may be difficult, but simply empathizing with what your loved one is going through goes a long way in sending positive reinforcement. Even when you're not sure if your words are affecting your loved one, know that people who are grieving may not always remember what you said exactly, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Number 4. Help them plan. Being supportive during your loved one's grief process can start by acknowledging the changes they will need to make, like redistributing assets and reconsidering how much they spend on a monthly basis. It is often best to suggest to your children that they seek professional help in order to adjust to their new life and even prepare for the future. Number 5. Go out somewhere. Schedule a day off to do something that your partner would enjoy where you can spend a day with them. Ensure that they get up and get dressed, leaving the house for a change of scenery. After a loved one dies, staying in too long and feeling like there's nowhere to go can lead to depression and alienation. Make sure that your day includes some important activities that your loved one can participate in with you. Grieving can interrupt our motivation and ability to get back on track after a tragedy. When you persist in your efforts, you will start to see progress, whether the person is yourself or a loved one. Keep trying, keep encouraging, and be patient with the process. Yet, even with the loss of a loved one, life doesn't stop. In order to get back on track, here are some tips. Accept it as a reality. With the loss of friends and family members, it is important to find support, as emotional stability is imperative before you can rebuild after a tragic event. While it is okay to grieve the loss of that special person for some time, occupying your mind with their death will not help anyone. What you should do instead is focus on yourselves during this transitional period. Surround yourself with your support system. It can be painful not to have the support of someone important to you. At this time, you should get emotional strength from your family, friends, or spouse, and call them to help you overcome difficult times. Meditate to break yourself free from intrusive thoughts. It's natural to feel the pain of losing a loved one, and many people experience intense anxiety when they deal with this. Meditation can help you focus on your thoughts and let out negative ones, which helps. Make sure to take time to meditate at least once a day and cleanse your thoughts from all the guilt, anger, and self-criticism. Let out your emotions. Expressing your emotions can help with stress, anxiety, and a better mental state. One great way to do this is by sobbing your heart out. You can find an image of your loved one and cry out loud. Visit a graveyard where their remains are buried, and to make right what may have been wronged, or even have a chat with a photo album featuring pictures of your loved one. Keep moving on. One way to live is to be flexible and open-minded about life's twists and turns. When you're faced with new situations, you can choose not only to focus on surviving, but also honor your loved ones and create new joys in your life. There are many ways to define your personal mission, so focus on what brings you the most meaning and purpose. Take care of your health. When a close loved one dies, it can have quite detrimental effects on your mood. This can often lead to unhealthy lack of motivation towards exercise or eating healthy foods. One way to cope with this is to make some effort. Throughout this process, it's important to start with small successes. You can begin by giving yourself less time in order to eat or taking smaller portions. Start with a couple of minutes and gradually progress from there. Reconnect to life. When an unexpected loved one passes away, you might feel loss, sadness, and hopelessness. However, to get back up and do what you did before the tragedy can only be accomplished by finding your passion again. In order to find your zest for living again, you must put on a brave face, move forward, and start over. So get out of the sad thinking and re-engage with life. Listen to your playlist or go watch a movie with your best friends. Spending time with people you love will help you feel better, and all things will help you get back in touch with life again. Don't be self-conscious. The death of a loved one is not something that should make you sad or happy. Your feelings of grief should be irrelevant when it comes to how you reflect on your loss and honor their memory. The way you mourn your loved one will likely be different from what others are doing, so just do what feels meaningful to you. Channel your grief into something positive and meaningful. When things go wrong, you can either let the pain get to you or find a positive dimension of life in it. For example, when somebody close to you dies, it's common to feel like they're gone forever. Lost your child? You can still live in the hope of his success too. You can adopt an orphan and give him your surname so that he will receive a better education, and you may help others by doing this as well. Dedicate yourself to fulfill the wish of your lost fellow. Every individual has dreams and ambitions that they may not be able to achieve, but by fulfilling your loved one's dreams, you will not only keep him with you, but also give meaning to your life. Nothing can motivate us more than realizing the dreams of someone we love so much. You don't need to hold back your feelings when you're grieving. Let the memories help you heal, and you will emerge stronger than ever. You'll see that losing someone can be an empowering life experience. Tell everyone how you feel because you're allowed to grieve. With this new world placed on the shoulders of modern-day society, sadness has become less integrated into the lives of human beings. People are expected to be back to themselves as soon as possible, and it's a social norm that is not always appreciated. We don't live in a time when people can wear mourning clothes or black fabric anymore, because we're living in societies where we just have to keep moving, which means we need to be open about our emotions with society in order for them to respect us. Turn to people who care about you most. You need to spend some time alone after a loss, but isolation isn't healthy, and you should move into your new life with friends. Let people back into your life so you can heal. A spiritual leader like a friend or loved one can help you. That's it for this video, Manna member. Remember to subscribe to our channel. And if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person, as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you take action that you'll start to see results. See you on the next one.